Hello and welcome to another Rhubarb podcast. My name is Simon Barnum, and joining me today we have the lovely Sophie Cullen. Guys, if you haven't come across Sophie's Insta before, I strongly suggest that you do so. Her Insta is home.by.cullen, and I can tell you now it is absolutely stunning. So for loads and loads of inspiration on interior design, please check out her Insta tag. So yeah, a little bit about Sophie. She gets married in 5 weeks, so congratulations on that. She's also a fur mama to the cutest dog, and the home on her Instagram account is Sophie and her fiance's second home together. So Sophie, welcome.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm okay.
Good. Thank you for agreeing to have a chat to us. So yeah, I mean, I've given you a brief introduction, but please tell us in your own words a little bit about yourself, what you do, and what you're about.
I'm a ship planner.
Wow.
Ship.
Okay.
Sorry, my accent's really northern.
Where are you from? Where are you from?
I'm from a little town in Cheshire called Widnes.
I have heard
Most
of
people
it.
will know it between Manchester and Liverpool,
That's right.
and
Yeah.
we're kind of stuck in the middle.
Right.
So that's
Okay.
where I'm from. Lived here all my life.
Yeah.
But yeah, I work for a large shipping company, and I deal with vessels coming all over the world to discharge bulk product into my terminal. So I plan that across 2 terminals at the minute.
Yeah.
Sounds really fun, but it's not as fun as you'd think. You don't get to go on the ships.
No, and I guess you on furlough at the moment as well because of the whole COVID situation, or how's it working
No,
for you?
so because it's classed as freight on water, we bring in blood supplies to the NHS, and we also bring
Wow.
in powder that goes into detergents, medicine bottle making, cement for the building industry. So I've not had furlough the whole time I'm a key worker, so I've worked ever since this all kicked off.
Well, the fact that you're a key worker, I totally applaud you and take my hat off to you for that. So keep doing your thing, that as well as the interior design stuff. So it sounds like you're a busy bee at the moment, right? But I just want to
Yeah.
actually go back to reading your notes. It seems like you've had a bit of a tough lockdown over the last 12 to 14 months. So yeah, kindly, if you will, share what's been going on in your life.
Well, we actually were in Australia when kind of COVID blew
Oh
up in the
no.
UK.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
we had about 6 hours to get out of Australia. Otherwise, we'd have been stuck there, which I think I'd rather have been stuck there.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's think about this for a
You
second.
know. But yeah, no. So we literally flew home and landed, and a couple of days later, my manager said, "You're working from home. This is what you just need to get on with it now. The rest of the world needs to tick on." And in the whole process, we thought it'd be fun to buy a second house. So,
And can I just ask really quickly, because I'm in the property business myself, is that a residential or is that for investment?
no, so we originally were planning to do a buy-to-let mortgage on our current home at the time.
Yeah.
But then when we came down to it, we needed a larger deposit. So with the COVID pandemics hitting obviously banks and lenders,
Yeah.
they wanted a higher deposit scheme. So your usual 5 to 10% was no more. We've had to enter into a 15% mortgage. So
Yeah.
basis what we needed for this house, we needed basically all the equity in our home at the time to be able to find this house. So we kind of lost out on what we would have loved to do, which was to start a bit of a property portfolio, given
Yeah.
that we'd spent 4 years in our previous home getting it to an amazing spec.
Yeah.
And then we would have loved to have just kept that, but it's not an option for us at the time. So we decided to cut it and come to our new home. But unfortunately, obviously with the pandemic and, places on furlough themselves, lenders on furlough, limitations meant
Yeah.
that it took 8 months, and we had 4 buyers. 3 of them failed. We had a few stringers along for quite some time before lenders wouldn't give them the mortgage underwritten. So it was just a bit tough. It's been difficult, and then obviously we've been engaged for 3.5 years. So we've had our June wedding date planned in for quite some time. But I was supposed to go to Vegas for my hen do, and it's one thing that I've always wanted to do. I wasn't able to go dress shopping, so
Of course. Yeah, it destroys everything, doesn't it?
it does dampen it. It is hard to keep spirits sometimes when everything that should be happy in your life isn't.
Yeah.
Buying a house should be happy, but you're constantly having to wait or be let down and delayed, and then you know, you're due to get married, but at this minute in time, you don't know if Boris will let you. So
Yeah. I mean,
it's
sorry, just, I mean, I want to come back to all of this, but just, I wanted to touch on the point there because, you know, what you've said already is quite a tough thing for anyone to have to go through. And I want to know from a personal perspective, if you don't mind sharing, what's kept you going? Like, what has kind of given you the drive to keep pushing forward? Because I think a lot of us can relate into, you know, in different aspects in terms of wanting, just giving up, throwing the towel in. But it seems like you've got this little fight in you that's kind of keep going through it. And I'm just wondering if there's anything in particular that's allowing you to do that.
I think it's a mixture of a few things. Instagram is a really big part of my life.
Mm-hmm.
I rarely use my social media in terms of my personal account, but my home account, from complete strangers that don't know you, they give you the most amazing support.
Yes.
And they constantly boost you. So obviously when I was going through such difficulty with the house sale,
Mm-hmm.
you know, people are like, I'm in the same situation, and we talk together, and it's like sometimes you just need a stranger to talk to rather than somebody close.
I totally hear you.
And it hits different is the only way
Yeah.
I could describe it. It's just having that rapport with people that you know are going through something similar.
Yeah.
Everyone deals with things differently, but other than that, I mean, my fiance Jordan, he's my absolute rock. So I don't think I would have survived, because he's very much, I can be quite, you know, I'm very emotional, so I take everything to heart super quick, and I think the
Yeah.
world is gonna, you know, collapse beneath me.
Mm-hmm.
But he kind of just keeps me propped up. But I think over time you've got to try and find a way to deal with things,
Great.
because, and I feel like the more, it sounds horrible, but I've always been a pessimist,
Right.
and I've realized now that that's how I need to be able to function for myself. If I'm too optimistic, then I'm always let down. Whereas if
Yeah.
I just think, nah, that glass is half full, like,
Yeah.
it's just, you find a way to deal with it.
Well, I think everybody has their own way of dealing with it, isn't it? And it's important to kind of highlight that it doesn't necessarily matter whether you see it as a glass half full or a glass half empty. It's the fact that you can kind of pick yourself up and keep going, because it's people like yourselves, as you said, you've got like a huge Instagram following now, and you're kind of reaching out to people that you're effectively not just inviting into your home, but you're inviting into your personal life. And I think that opens up a whole heap of things where, you know, it's a network of you know, feeling supported. It's so important, and I think anybody in that situation is admirable. I really do.
Oh no, honestly, a lot of love goes out to all those on Instagram. There's always negativity out there,
Of
and
course.
I know that putting your life out and letting it be open to scrutiny can sometimes be a lot for people to take on.
Hmm.
And you know, you will get those days where you'll get a troll, or you'll get some kind of negative feedback, but for every one piece of negativity there is thousands of positivity out there. And you know, the amount of time over lockdown I've been in tears because people are just sending so much love and support, and I just think, if you walked past me in the street now, you genuinely would not know who I am.
Yeah.
And yet you're willing to take the time out your day, when you could have so much going on yourself, to tell me that things are okay and things are going to be all right. And it's all
Yeah.
just from, you know, posting a bit about my home and a bit about my life.
And about that, actually, is there any particular moment where you just thought, because you know, it's quite a personal thing to do, allowing people to come into your home and your personal space. What made that decision like arise?
Well, I've always been really creative. I was supposed to do interior design at university, and then I just stopped and did English because it was a quick win for me.
Yeah.
So I've always needed a way to channel that creativity, and I didn't want to necessarily bore people on my personal account with, here's my home. So I thought I'll just create this, and I mean, I've been doing this now for over 3 years.
Mhm.
It's not as though I've just come on the scene straight away. I've taken a lot of time to build up, you know, how I post images, the content I create, what I actually share with people,
Yeah.
building, you know, I've got one of my best friends I've met through Instagram. It's
Amazing.
just a lot of time that's been built into it to get it where it is now.
Yeah.
A lot of accounts come on the scene and they just kind of hit the ground running. But for me, I feel like I, as a person, have grown the more that my account has grown.
Yeah.
And with that, my interior scheme and, you
Mhm.
know, decor has grown too.
Yeah.
And I think it's such a good process to go through, because you're basically watching yourself evolve in every single way.
Yeah. I like the fact that you said that it was your creative streak, because I think that's, you know, I don't want to say anything negative so much towards the school system, but I think that we are conditioned in such a way that we are, we have to be academic to get the jobs that we want. But actually, I teach kids, so I can be open when I say this. I teach kids to dance, and I meet all sorts of kids from all levels and all backgrounds. And I generally find that if they're not necessarily academic, they can be quite creative. And I think maybe that needs to be nurtured just a little bit more, because I think that's just as important, especially in today's society, as you said, where you've got the Instagrams and you've got so much out there where people are doing different things and trying new things, that creativity is just as important. What do you think about that?
I agree. I think at school I was a straight A student in English. It's one thing I excelled in. For
Nice.
someone that hates reading books, I can quite easily watch a film adaptation
Yeah.
and nail that exam. That's one of the things I'm good at. I'm very good at things on the spot, and I was always told that I should push on with English. And when I said I wanted to do interior design, when I was going on from my college courses into university, it's even from like my family, they were saying, you need to do something academic. But it's like people that go and do photography or art, it makes no difference. You've still got a level of learning and development that somebody else hasn't.
Absolutely.
And
it's a lot of skill that goes into that,
Exactly. There's so much more to it. I mean, nothing against anyone that does English, because my degree is in English language studies. It's not.
Absolutely.
But now when I'm in the job that I'm in, it brings no value to my job.
Yeah. I just think it's important to kind of recognize, isn't it, that the creativity is, as you said, photography and art, interior design even, it's so paramount in today's society. And I think it just kind of needs to be recognized maybe just a little bit more.
Yeah, I think as well, obviously everyone learns in a different way. I've always been, when you've done all the classifications, I'm a visual learner. So I have to see things. I work in like color. I have to see, I have to highlight everything. I have to write to-do lists, and I can only see it's completed when it's green. Like I'm very visual, but other people aren't the same, which is completely fine. Everyone learns differently. But when it progresses in your life, then as you grow older, and you just think, okay, so like now I've obviously just moved from a home that was completely cold. It was greys and whites. It was very cool in tone. And now this new home is very warm, full of golds and warmth. And that's the kind of tones I want to kind of reflect how I feel like I've progressed as a person as well over the years. Of that's where I was now, but I'm feeling in a much better place. And this is how I want everybody else when they can come round to kind of get that benefit.
No, I love that. And I have looked at your Instagram account as well, and it is insane. I absolutely love it. And I did pick up actually on the two different color schemes, and so that would have been from your previous house, I'm guessing, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And now you've gone for the gorgeous creams and golds, and I can also see the lovely Burge Ruber lamp in the background over your right hand shoulder. But we're going to talk about that in a second. But I'm a big fan of their stuff as well. I've got an Aetna lamp, and so yeah. But before we get to all of that stuff. So you are getting married in 5 weeks. That's all going ahead now?
Yeah, we've decided to go ahead with a COVID wedding. There'll be
what does that entail?
Well, limitations. We should have had about, I think it was 82 guests with an additional 70 in the evening. It now means that we'll have 30 guests total, including me and Jordan. So we have to wear masks in the ceremony room. But the way that it's currently agreed is that you can kind of mingle between. They've not advised anything on terms of testings or anything like that just yet. Yeah. But I think we have to just continue with the guidelines. But it just means that we're very limited. We've got family in Australia that can't be with us. My maid of honor is she's based in New Zealand, and she can't be with us. So it's very difficult when the people that you absolutely adore and have grown up watching, yourself and your partner in a relationship. It's hard not having those main people there. So
yeah, I mean, let's be honest, the situation itself, out of our hands and out of our control, but the situation sucks, basically. Yeah. But
I mean, it could be worse. It could be cancelled, which would be an absolute be all and end all for me, because it's been a long time in the planning. So
of course. And I guess we have to kind of put those steps in process to I guess come out of it the other end as well. So it's not an ideal situation, but the fact that you're kind of adhering to the rules still and making the best of a not ideal situation is admirable, definitely. So tell us about, I heard that you went viral.
Well, I had quite a few newspaper and like online magazines like the Metro and like Lad Bible use my images. So in lockdown, I used to call it the POV, which is like a poverty version, because live my best peasant life. I wanted to show people
we've all been there, don't worry.
I wanted to show people that you can still do things on a very tight budget, because what I feel sometimes on Instagram is you don't see the reality. Not everyone has £300 to spend on a projector. Not everyone can afford garden furniture outside. And I was there, like, saving for this new house as well. I couldn't afford all these things. And so at one point, I brought my sofa from the inside of the house outside.
Brilliant.
Just to be that little bit extra. And I got I think it was about £70 from Amazon. Just a bog standard projector. And I just projected it onto the back of the fence panels, got all the candles out, loads of cushions. I made little nibble boards, and we just made our little outdoor cinema. And then people started to go crazy for it. And I think obviously when people then clicking on the hashtags, and it just kind of blew up. And then quite a lot of magazines and companies started to interview me, asking me like why I'd done it, what I could recommend, and then different ways that I could do it. So I think at one point I just got every rug, towel, bed sheet, everything I could in the house, instead of bringing out my sofa. And then I'd bring all that together, and we'd just be sat on the floor instead. And it's just something different that you could watch under the stars and just do something that felt a little bit normal in such a weird and eerie time.
Well, you've kind of just exercised your creative flow again, haven't you? And it's kind of just blown up in that sense. It really, really has.
Yeah, I think sometimes you just need to think out the box, and
that's it.
At the time there was negative comments on it, but you don't have to do it if you don't want to. You're just there to inspire, and the amount of people that I did again outweighs the negative. So
that's it. You're going to get negative comments. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off then, but I'm very hot on stuff like that. And especially Instagram, as you said, it can be a very fake world. But wherever you go, you're always going to get negative comments. And I think the key thing is how you deal with those negative comments. If you're going to take them to heart, it's going to fester, and it's going to cause damage. You just have to learn to bat them off and just be true to yourself, live your truth, so to speak.
Exactly. I mean, I did a few other projects in lockdown. Again, I called it a POV pantry. We had a very tiny little kitchen, and we had about 3 usable cupboards. So I cleared out all of the understairs, got like a £10 shelf from an IKEA rack. And just went to like Home Bargains and B&M and got all the storage containers. And
oh my God, I love Home Bargains and B&M.
I know, I love
They've got hidden gems in those places that.
Honestly, though,
guys, if you haven't been, and there's one in Liverpool City Centre as well. I've got a flat up in Liverpool, so every time a tenant moves, I have to do a new tenancy on like B&M straight away.
Go.
Get
6 trolleys and get in the queue.
6 trolleys. That's excessive.
But you always go in for one thing, and
that's the thing. Yeah, it's been like, oh, I just need a doormat, and then by the time I'm literally like Julia Roberts when she's coming out of Rodeo Drive with bags of shopping on my arms, full of interior design stuff. Oh no, that's great. Well, okay, let's talk about your new home then, because for me, if I was to kind of live in a particular home, this is exactly the sort of home how I would see myself. The creams, the golds, the detailing, like the marble. Just talk us through some of that. Like what would you say your design style is, and what's the inspiration? Where did you get your inspiration from?
One of my main inspirations, and I know it sounds really cheesy, but is hotels. I love nothing more than a bougie hotel room.
I'm with you. Yeah.
Walking into a lobby and thinking, I've paid good money for this. This is
don't you?
Yeah, and you just that kind of like luxury. I just want to kind of bring that into my house. Obviously, I've not got hundreds of thousands of pounds that I can recreate what the interior designers do, but what I can do is put my own natural flair to it. So I look at things and I go, right, okay, I might want to take that away. So again, one of the main muses for the marble input in this home was when I went to Australia last year, and we stayed at a place called QT Perth, and they had like black marbling with all gold accents. And I just fell in love, and I was like, this is amazing. but it had quite some like wooden undertones to it, and it was beautiful. So I mean you can't see it now, but the legs on our sofas, they're kind of like a dark wood.
Yeah.
And we've got like wooden wicker baskets, so I'm bringing those elements into the house. You know, we're going to get herringbone floor, and we're going to start bringing those more neutral tones in, but that are quite bold on their own.
Yeah.
And then obviously that's when I kind of just fell in love with the gold. Like I've said for quite some time, I'd love gold, and I was trying to start bringing it into my old grey home, but it stuck out like a sore thumb. It was hard because you can have grey and gold, no problem, but when you're trying to put that level of gold into a cooler palette, it's quite difficult.
Yeah.
So for this home, we just knew what we wanted straight away, and we just started handpicking everything out.
Yeah, I mean, it really is stunning. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong in saying this, but just to divulge a little bit, in my past life, I used to be a dancer. I used to dance with Girls Aloud, and I traveled the whole of the UK. And we'd stay in the same hotels as them, and they were good hotels. And I can totally they were. We lived. I was like the sixth member of Girls Aloud, just people just didn't know it. But I do feel like the hotels have kind of paved the way. They've kind of set that level, haven't they? I do know what you mean, because when I was in, like, for example, a Malmaison, I loved a Malmaison hotel, and it was very dark, but it was the detailing of those kind of hotels that would be like, oh my God, you'd never even think about certain stuff like that. And I do know what you mean. It's very interesting that you would you agree that, hotels have got a lot of responsibility for the way, interior design has gone these days.
Yeah, I mean, we built a suspended ceiling, and I would never have thought to pick a suspended ceiling as a feature.
Wow.
And then it's just how to me, it's a lot of mood lighting and how you can enhance a room through the lighting. And it's not something until about a year ago that I ever kind of considered. I used to just put, a quick light on the ceiling and have done with it. And now I'm very much like, I like my lamps. I like kind of mood-based lighting. So we're going to be again, you can't see, but we've got LED light strips that go all around. We've now got spotlight placement in specific areas of the room, and we'll be doing the exact same in the bedroom. Just because we want to be able to create that kind of ambience that you can just relax to. I feel like, especially because I've been working from home now for over a year.
Yeah.
This being a new home, it's been about trying to give myself that kind of relaxation and comfort back that I've lost.
Yeah, of course.
Obviously, my old house became my office, and it was a very tiny space, and it's trying to then make sure you've got those areas of the home that you can completely segregate from and just switch off and unwind. And I feel like the inspiration from hotels is completely why I've done that.
Yeah, I totally get it. And I can see, going back to your lamp in the background, you talk about mood lighting. So behind you have the stunning Ruba Burge lamp. Did you pick that for yourself? Yeah, or was that one that the fiance picked? You did. And what made you choose that particular design?
Well, I actually looked at this. So when Chloe had contacted me, I actually looked and I was like, out to Jordan, oh my God, look at this lamp. It's amazing. Would that not go perfect there? It would match because we've got brass tones in the in the living room.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's perfect. It's marble too. I was just like, oh. And then at the same time, when she sent me the list, I went, oh, it's on there. I was like, okay, that's perfect. I don't think
that one.
I don't think there could ever have been anything that would have been so very well fitting as this lamp right now.
Yeah, I have to say it does look stunning there. It really, really does. I myself have the Aetna lamp. I'm not sure if you know it. It's a little bit more square.
Yeah, that's the one I looked at.
And the minute I saw it, I literally fell in love with it. But mine arrived about 2 months ago, and it's in its little corner, and it literally lights up the room. I've said that before as well, but I love it. It works.
You've been waiting to use that one.
I've been waiting to use that one. But it does. It's in its little corner, and when I switch it on overnight, it really just kind of sets the mood of the house. It really does, especially when you're winding down after a long day. So I totally relate. All right, well, tell me then about some top tips. Obviously there are people that are still kind of going through this whole lockdown situation, looking for ideas, inspiration. What sort of advice could you give to those sort of people that are looking to start somewhere, where to start, what to buy, how to match things up?
I think one of the main things I can advise, and it's because I've had to learn myself over the years, and after many arguments with Jordan over decor, is that don't jump in too soon to buy something the minute you see it, because you'll end up buying it, but you'll buy another 10 versions of it before you find the right one.
Yeah.
Get a mood boards together. You can do them online now. There's a lot of free apps that you can use to put those key pieces and just get, as many kind of samples out of, whether it's a styling book. I mean, I have quite a lot of Kelly Hoppen home books that I use for quite a lot of color matching, and I get inspiration from them. But when you go into the showrooms and you if you're picking your sofa, what have they shared? What have they put it with?
Yeah.
How does it look? What lighting have they got? Sometimes it's you jump in too soon to get and think, oh, that's amazing, but it doesn't then go, and then you've got no placement for it and you've wasted your money, or you've spent, I don't know, £50 on something when you could have waited an extra couple of months and spent an extra £20 and got the one thing that you actually wanted, rather than you wasting your money. I think always, in particular for me, another tip is pick your big objects first, because in the past I have tried to make everything match a bed rather than making, do you know what I mean? I'm just like, because I just go very gung-ho and I'm so indecisive, and I just go, yeah, I want that and that done, and then when it turns up I go, none of this matches. But again, as well, take advantage of freebies, free samples.
Okay.
Go and get swatches from everything, take photos of everything, take it in different lights. I mean, I have a lot of like paint palette books. I mean, they've all gone missing because my family and friends and people that I've met on Instagram have now took it. I've not seen it back. But I always go, take that with you, try it against your home. Don't just go and buy it on a whim because it looks nice in the store. Take it back and have a look in your actual light. Are you looking at more of a white light? Is it going to be a warmer light? You don't know how that shade might look. So I do believe now, especially over the years learning, you've got to think a little bit more.
It's interesting you say that, because what I've realized is that every home is different and every space is different. So what you would see maybe in a picture or on the internet or something that you're kind of doing your research, you'd look at it and be like, oh my God, that looks amazing. But then you could purchase it, get it home and be like, oh, it doesn't work in my space. And I am quite a hit and hope person. I've recently renovated my front room and thank God it all kind of came together. But there was probably an odd couple of things that I was like, right, I'm just gonna give it to my sister, or because once it's there, but it just wasn't working. But no, do you know another thing as well, which I found, I'm not sure if you've seen the program Interior Design Masters. With Michelle Hine and Ellen Carr and
I think I'd been watching some on Netflix. I'd been watching quite a lot of the American documentaries, and then I'd seen the one on BBC One. And I actually took some, I've not done it, I've not ended up doing it because I feel like my prints at the minute are going to take priority, but I actually wanted to do some paneling that I've seen on that, and I'd never seen that style of paneling before. And it added so much definition to an empty room through literally just a little bit of paneling on the wall. So it's amazing what you can do in terms of just little snippets of programs, or like I said, like books or brochures.
It is. Do you know what it is? It just allows you to open up your mind a little bit, doesn't it? I think thinking outside the box or kind of taking that leap is quite a scary step for a lot of us. And as I said, like there's things that I probably have in my front room which I never would have put in before, but I just kind of took the plunge. And it's thanks to those kind of, the fabulous interior design pictures that are available to us, and then the TV programs where, you've got 8 contestants that all have to design a student residence, for example, and you just think, oh, this isn't going to work, and it really does open your mind up.
Definitely. You look at things, don't you? You think, I used to look at certain aspects and I go, oh, I wouldn't do that in my house.
That's right.
And now I've done it, because when you see it, then you think, oh, it's not for me. But like I said before, you start to adapt your decor, and your interiors start to change, and you just think, well, actually, I do kind of like that now. But I think you need to let yourself come around to that, and then when you get to see it through, your programs and your books, you get to see where they've put that together, and then you just stem off then and go on to,
that's it.
Oh, well, I would actually put this with it, and then I might get, they've put a rectangular coffee table, I'd put a round one for that space, and you get to understand your room a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about the inspiration. Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, I'm going to throw some fun questions at you now, if you don't mind. So here we go. Just answer with the first thing that literally comes to your mind. You ready? Yeah. No pressure. They're not too bad either, he says. So, all right. Favorite food?
Pasta.
Oh, snap with your nut.
I'm like carby. I just love it.
Yeah, pizza, pasta. It's the devil, isn't it? It really is.
I've just had a Pizza Hut as well. I've got no shame.
Oh, so many people relating to you right now, probably having a Pizza Hut whilst listening to this podcast. I love it.
I mean, I've got my wedding dress fitting on Monday next week, and I need to lose about 40 kilos in a day. And right now, I'm sat eating garlic bread and today.
But do you know what? I don't know what's the weather like up there. It's pouring down with rain here in London. It's miserable.
Yeah, same.
It's definitely pizza weather.
Plus, I went shopping earlier and we had to stand outside to queue in hail, rain and snow. And I only had like a little t-shirt on. I hadn't prepared to wait in a queue for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So I was just absolutely drenched. So I just like, I need carbs.
Yeah, it's one of those days. Well, you can allow yourself every now and then. You treat yourself. It's not a problem. All right. Well, would you rather be dressed up or wear your pajamas for most of the day? She's a pajama girl.
Every day.
Yeah, all day, every day. Phone call or text?
Text.
Iced coffee or hot coffee?
None. I can't stand coffee.
Okay. What's your drink? What's your hot drink? Just out of interest. Tea. Yeah. Okay. You a saver or spender?
Totally a spender.
I like the little pause. Then it was like, oh, I need to be good. No, do you know what? I can't hide this one.
You got to be honest.
Yeah, no, I hear you on that. And do you know what? For me, for the right things, I will spend all day long. If you're getting good quality, then I'll put the money in. So yeah, you get what you pay for, as they say.
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay. Sandwiches, do you cut them horizontally or diagonally?
I had to think what way around that was then. I cut them into squares.
Do you? Oh, controversial.
Love outside the box again.
Yeah, there you go. That's your creative streak kicking right in.
I give him like a child where I cut them into 4. He asked me what's wrong. He thinks I've got something wrong with me.
Well, Sophie, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for talking to us. I'm just going to shout out your Instagram tag one more time. So it is Home by Cullen. Is that correct? No full stops. It's just at
even though my name isn't even Cullen yet. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you've taken on the marital name anyway, but yeah. But if people wanted to check, just for our listeners that are listening out there, if they wanted to, and I strongly suggest they do, find your Instagram tag. It is at Home by Cullen. Yes.
Home by Cullen. Yeah.
Great stuff. All right. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, and thank you so much.
Oh, thank you very much, guys. It's been lovely.
Not at all. And a big shout out to you guys once again, our listeners, for tuning in. And we look forward to catching up with you on the next Ruba podcast.